So.
Yeah, I think I warned you about that, saying the realtors work evenings.
Yeah.
They don't work in the morning.
Yeah.
That I'm convinced of.
Welcome to the No Two Roads podcast with Darren Leffers and Brent Rook.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Two Roads. What is No Two Roads? It's a podcast that Brent and I are putting on. Entrepreneurs, business owners, we want to learn from them, how they've grown in their business, and we're really excited about today.
So like and subscribe.
Definitely.
Follow. We are realtors in the Fraser Valley. We run Leffers and Rook Real Estate Group. And today I'm very excited to introduce our first guest, our guinea pig. This man, not only has he started a company from 0 employees, from scratch in 1996 to over 100 employees, he is also my dad and the first guest we've ever had on the show.
And really, he's responsible for making Leffers and Rook happen to a certain extent.
Right. So, Neil, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
Yeah, there you go. So, Brent, tell me about what you know, broad scale, about what your dad has done business-wise, and then we'll get into all the questions we have for him.
All right. So, I was really young when Raven Roofing started, and that's my dad's company. So it's a roofing company. He's going to tell us all about it today. I was really young when it started. I was 7 years old, and so I don't know much about the beginning at all, and I'm excited to kind of hear his story. And then it grew from nothing, and I know we came from a very humble beginning because I also grew up in that. And yeah, Dad, you started from nothing. You grew it to a massive company. You've recently sold the company, and it was pretty incredible to watch your journey. I also worked for him for about 8 years, maybe even a little bit more. So shortly after I graduated, 07 it was about 10 years actually. Started in the field, became a ticketed flat roofer. Got my red seal, and then I was in the office and worked for several years with him there. Really fond memories of that. Learned a ton, and that's kind of my very high level.
And then I might be responsible for ending that, but I'm sure we'll get to that later. So
Yeah.
Neil, how did you get a start in roofing?
Did I get started in roofing?
Yeah, even before Raven.
Before Raven. Well, grew up in Manitoba. Lived on a farm. My dad was a pig farmer. My mom was stay at home. Grew vegetables, big garden. As a kid, I had to do chores, slop the pigs, worked in the garden.
And the pig barns had that smell.
Well, they had a smell.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
We've shown a few of them.
What was Grandma Rook's nickname again? What'd you call her?
Scooter.
Yeah.
Grandma?
Yeah. Well, what was your dad's name again?
Bimbo.
Yeah. Scooter and Bimbo. Those are the nicknames I would always hear. Yeah.
Those are your nicknames for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, anyhow, yeah, I grew up there. So, age of 12, 13, you were dragged out. You had to do your chores. And that was before school, after school.
Yeah.
My dad had the pig farm, and during the day he would be helping other farmers or he'd work in other places. We were not a well-off family, but we always had everything we needed.
Yep.
How many of your brothers and sisters?
I have, there's 6 in the family. I got 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
And where do you fit in there?
I'm the second from the end.
Oh, okay.
There's big gaps in there.
There's big gaps.
Big spread.
Yeah, but you still had to do all the farm chores, so.
Yeah, it's because
you weren't
my
getting
older
off
brother was like 12 years older than me, so he had moved out, so
Yeah.
it was up to me.
There you go. So you're out there on a farm. You moved here then, and how old were you when you moved here?
Right after we were married, I was 24.
24.
So I had been working in a grain terminal in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And I was the grain grader, so it was a good job. But buying position came open, which I applied for, and was unsuccessful. And they hired someone from outside of the company, and it was discouraging.
Yeah.
So I quit. And I thought there has to be something better. So we quit, and then I met up with one of my best friends that I knew, and they also moved to BC at the same time we did. So we packed up everything we had. I was just married. I think my wife was pregnant with Brent at the time.
Yep.
Had no job. We came here, had everything in a U-Haul trailer, and
So you didn't know what was here yet.
had no clue.
Yeah.
Just
No
getting
clue.
out of car.
It's almost that immigrant feel where it's like, the Europeans, we're going to Canada and we'll find out what happens there. You're like, I'm moving off the prairies.
No, I'd been here before, like on
Okay.
holidays and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
But and it appealed to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, there's an opportunity here. And if you work hard and you want to work, there's always work.
Yeah. So that's 19. When are you? That's like late 80s.
That
Or
was
the 90s?
January of '89 when
Yeah.
we moved here.
I was born in '89, so 4 months later.
Yeah. So we actually started hanging drywall together, the two of us.
Yeah.
I'd been in construction before. We didn't know anything about drywall, but we just, hey, make it white.
So the drywall cracks that I see on 1990 age homes, it might be from you when we're going through homes.
They could have been.
There
They
you go.
could have been.
Okay, so let's jump back to BC, but I just wanted to quickly touch on. I remember you telling me a story. I thought this was so cool, just for perspective of you growing up in Carmen as a teenager. Obviously this is before cell phones. Like you're in the 80s here, and I remember you telling me a story about 2 and 2. Can you tell the people about 2 and 2?
Yeah, we grew up in a small town, Carmen. So the Carmen covered 1 square mile. So Friday nights, there was this vacant yard, I guess, in the middle of nowhere. And if we wanted to have some music and have a few beer or have a few drinks, we would say, okay, let's go meet at 2 and 2. That was 2 miles south and 2 miles west of Carmen. Everybody knew where it was.
Yeah,
So, and we could crank the music there, and yeah.
it's the best. That's just the best.
I love small town stories.
There's movies written about this stuff. I love that story.
I'll know if I ever go to Carmen, I'm going to go to 2 and 2 at Friday night.
The good part was we never left a mess. Like we were young, but we were responsible. I can say that.
Yeah.
We had a good time. We had lots of fun.
Yeah.
And really driving
I'm
home.
sure some
there's-
guys met girlfriends there.
Yeah.
Well, and driving home was just probably straight lines in Carmen, right?
It was, for me, it was probably a 2 mile drive.
Yeah, there you go.
I would love for someone to reach out at some point if they watch this and be like, I know 2 and 2. Tell us the story. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to BC. So you're here. You got you're laying drywall. You're having a kid. You're starting a family. How long did you drywall, and then what did you do after that?
So I probably drywalled for maybe a year. I mean, I knew it wasn't a career choice, that's for sure.
And were you working for somebody else, or you
No,
guys just...
we were subcontracted.
Yeah, yeah.
So we happened to be on a job where there's another commercial roofer working at the same time. And I knew the foreman of that company, so we got to talking to him. And through him, I met the owner. And I was interested in what they were doing. So I approached him and asked him for work. He said, sure, I'll give you a job. At that time, the guy was working with drywall, and he also wanted to get out. So he took a totally different career path. He went back to school and
Yeah.
is now back in Winnipeg.
But it was kind of happenstance then to start into the roofing,
Yes.
right?
That was a fluke.
Yeah.
That was really a fluke.
What did you, like when you were younger and you were a kid, what did you think you wanted to do when you were older?
I had no idea, but I did know I didn't want to work for someone all my life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be
There you go.
independent.
Yeah.
That I knew. I had no idea what
From
it was
an
gonna
early
be.
age or when you're like later teens?
No, probably almost right after school,
Yeah.
after I finished school.
Yeah.
I thought, you're on a fixed salary or fixed wages. You can't really say. I didn't like the idea of an 8 to 5 job every day. I needed more.
Yeah. So then you get into roofing. What was that company then? When you first started getting into roofing? Which
What
company? Yeah, like you didn't.
Oh, I don't
start-
want to name companies.
Yeah, okay, no, that's good. So you're starting at a roofing company. You work there for how many years before you're like, Okay, I'm gonna.
Well, basically, I started on the roof, right,
Yeah.
as a field guy. And after a couple weeks, the owner expressed that he didn't like the office work that much. So I said, well, I don't mind doing your estimating and so
Love it.
forth. I had taken estimating courses way back.
Yeah.
I said, well, give me a shot. So, yeah, after 2 weeks, I was in the office and I was doing his estimating and project managing. And
How big was the company at that time?
I don't really remember. There might have been 15 roofers or so at the time. It wasn't big.
Yeah.
It was when single ply roofing first came out, which is opposed to tar and gravel.
But you say it was a fluke, but you asked the right questions.
I did,
Right.
and I got the right response.
Yeah.
So I did that for approximately 4 years. Built up a lot of relations
Yeah.
because the owner wasn't really dealing with the clients that much. It was me. It was all through me. And then it came to a point where it became apparent to me it was going to become a family business. So I thought that's not really going to work for me either. So at that point, I had been talking to another person who later became a partner of mine and who also was interested in doing a startup. And he had a lot more roofing knowledge than I did, but I had the clients, I had the
Yeah.
contacts. So
Because at this point,
we ventured out on our own.
You roofed for a couple months at this point?
2 weeks. That's my roofing career.
How come I had to be on the roof for so long before I got an office job? What's going on here?
You took the wrong steps.
Yeah.
You didn't ask
You
the right
didn't ask the
questions.
right question.
I did not ask the right questions.
Oh.
You know, actually, those 4 or 5 years on the roof definitely helped shape for who I am today. So I don't regret it at all. I mean, you did a lot of, drywall and other jobs before you were doing stuff, in the office too. But
So that you met with this other individual.
Yeah,
That
many
decision.
times.
Yeah. So that decision to make that jump, like that probably was weeks or months to be like, okay, before we actually go do this. Like, was that scary or was that exciting?
That was a
Both?
leap of faith. It was scary, but exciting.
Yeah.
It was very scary because we had no idea what the response was going to be.
Yeah.
what about like financial backing and help? Because we didn't have a lot of money. You didn't have a lot of money
No,
at the time, so it is a huge risk too.
I actually ended up, and I don't know if you know this, but borrowing some money from my father-in-law
Okay.
to start. And we negotiated terms with a supplier where we didn't have to pay for equipment or supplies for 3 months without interest. It was a guy that I had become good friends with over the years, and he had faith in us. And really, without his backing, I don't think we could have done it, quite
Yeah,
honestly.
That's amazing. So, and I want to give people a bit of context who don't know. Like, this isn't your average residential, shingle, small roofing stuff. This is flat roofs. So picture your Home Depots, your small commercial complexes that you see. I was on Arena's roofing for you. I was all over Annacis Island. There's nothing but huge industrial warehouses there. This is flat roofing. It's commercial. It's industrial. So when you're going to start a business and you have to order materials, you're in the hundreds of thousands.
Well, we didn't start out that big.
Okay.
We started with smaller buildings. And that, we didn't have a crew when we started.
Yeah. That's what was my next question. Did you subcontract it out or did you
No,
right away,
well,
like
we
you
did.
hired?
We hired one guy, and then, let's put it this way, we borrowed some roofers.
That's well put. And where was your
There was no non-compete.
yeah. How did
Well,
you
there were people I knew from
Yeah.
the other company and said, hey, we got this, and can you come and help us for a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So I guess they might have phoned in sick. I
yeah. Somehow
still don't know.
you were getting roofs on.
So what I'm hearing from this is like when you think of an idea, there's always the like, I shouldn't do it because of this. I shouldn't do it because of that. I'm sure you went all through all those, but it was just like we're gonna get through all the like. When you guys were meeting together, what was discussed, and was the pitfalls discussed, or is this like let's go, like let's just do this?
We didn't really see any pitfalls. I mean, actually, we thought we were a good combination because I had contacts, I had clients already. He had the know-how,
Yeah.
how to do it. Just work hard. I mean,
Was he on the roof?
yes, he was on the roofs. And I actually did too for a little while then to start.
Estimating, roofing.
Be on the roof and do estimating in the evening.
Yeah.
So early on, did you feel like you were out of your element or making promises you weren't sure you could back up, or did you not have any of that? Like were you saying yes to things where it's like, okay, we can say yes, we got it. Not sure you can actually.
No, because when we started, we didn't have that much work to start. So
Yeah.
we could easily do the work that was available. And then slowly it evolved over time. I would go and I had a client list.
Yeah.
I went and visited them, and there were a number of guys that said, look, I don't even know who the owner of the other company was. I only dealt with you. So all you had to do was do a job and do it well, and you had repeat business from them.
Like anything else, hustle, do
Yeah.
it well.
Get in front of people.
They'll refer
Yeah.
you. They'll come back to you. And that's one thing that I noticed at Raven, like coming in later to estimate and project manage, is we had a good brand and a reputation, easy to stand behind to get work. You still have to go get it. You still have to work hard to get it, but you had the brand to back you.
But you also had clients that would come back to you and say, look, you might not be the low bid, but do you want to take another look at this?
Yeah.
Because we'd like to use you.
Yeah.
Now, whether they were telling you the truth all the time,
I know. Deciphering through the BS of like them trying to shave $5,000 off your low bid or actually
Yeah.
give you the shot at the job is everything, right?
Yeah.
And that ties also into something I want business owners to know, like follow up. If you're sending quotes in the construction industry or you're giving analysis on a house, in real estate or whatever you're in, follow up.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Oh, it is so important. I mean, you know me, I stress that all the time.
Yeah.
Follow up. You guys put in a quote 2 weeks ago. Where are you sitting? How have you done? What are you doing? If you didn't get the job, what were the other numbers like? So you could know where the competition was and where you had to be. It's so important.
So those early days, like you said, you had your connections already. If you wanted to grow and go after a new job, are you just going to site? Are you driving by buildings and being like, who's the project manager here? Like, how did you go after new business? Or was it slow organic growth with who you already knew?
For the most part, it was slow organic, but we also got all the building reports of all the
Like
permits
read
that were
sheets?
issued.
Yeah.
So, and we would follow them up, whether it be phoning the architect to see who the builder is, or, is it construction management? Is it going out to GC? Is it, and then find out who the name is and call them. And you could say, hey, I did this and this job, and we'd like the opportunity to be able to price this for you or quote it for you.
Yeah.
You get your foot in the door that way.
Yeah.
How was your start for the office? Like, where'd you guys work out of?
Oh, the start?
Yeah.
Out of the basement and a garage. Our shop was the garage. Our office
it.
was the basement.
Where'd you put tools and materials?
We didn't have much at that time.
Okay.
And we didn't do that long. And then later we ended up in Langley, and we were still in the basement as the office, but there was this old refurbished chicken barn that we made into a shop, and that's what we used for quite a while.
I used to get paid, I forget what, to go in this refurbished chicken barn and sort screws. So in roofing, you got all these different types of sizes of screws. And at the end of a job, there's the guys, every time they have extra screws, just chuck it all back in the screw bucket. And these buckets are like a foot by a foot, and they're just full of all different sizes of screws. So there's all these shelves in this chicken barn. And I'd show up with Neil on a Saturday morning. He'd probably go into the office and get some work done. And I don't even know what you paid me. Probably not enough.
Oh, I think sufficient.
Yeah,
Didn't we pay you by the screw?
I think it was. And you had to sort the screws to all the different sizes in the buckets and like put it on the shelf so that you could continue using
Is that
it,
still a viable job?
right? Is that didn't become a thing anymore, did it?
Your sister did that too, for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So
That wasn't happening in the later years though, was it?
When you start paying $1 a screw, and that's what they were, when they're mixed up, they're useless. So, if you could sort 1,000 screws and get them in the right buckets, it was well worth it for
You
us.
probably were underpaid.
Yeah, it was all right though. I remember just going there. It was one of the first jobs I ever had. Just turn on some music and
There you go. A job no one ever thought would
sorting
somebody
screw
else
stuff.
would.
Yeah, because they come anywhere from like an inch and a quarter might be for when you're putting on the material at the end, or you can get up to like what 8, 10, 12-inch screws.
Oh, you can get 18-inch.
Going through layers of insulation
Yeah.
and whatever. They all just kind of get combined and sort them out.
I want to back up just a hair. When you started your business, the
Yes.
conversation you would have with your wife, like, do you remember what that was? And if was she like super pumped? Was it like, because Brent talks about it with his wife, like it's okay, I know I'm going to have to work hard, might miss some dinners. Like, do you remember excitement from her? Or was there,
You know
were
what?
there-
I will give her so much credit. When I suggested we move to BC and she was pregnant and we had no work, she supported it 100%.
yeah,
When I decided I was going to start my own, she supported it 100%.
awesome.
There was, I don't know, she had this confidence in me, and I don't know whether that was why or how I earned it, because I didn't ask for it, but
Yeah. But that
know,
probably
she
helped
was-
you have more confidence in it, right?
she was always supportive.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Never questioned it.
She's a great sport.
That's one thing she never did. She never got involved in the business, never questioned how we did things or why we did things.
Yeah.
In that respect, no, I had a free reign.
Trusted your call, supported.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of the things I've talked about in our last couple episodes here was making sure you and your wife are on the same page when you're starting a business. And you ingrained that in me. You're like, once I decided real estate, you're like, if you're gonna do this, unless you're gonna give it 100% and go, and that's like work, and it's gonna take evenings and whatever to get it going, she better be on the same page. There was just no point in even doing this.
Yeah, I think I warned you about that, saying the realtors work evenings.
Yeah.
They don't work in the morning.
Yeah.
That I'm convinced of. But
Business building.
Yes, we
is more-
do.
but no, the evenings you're out, and
Yeah.
that's the nice part. I got to be at home usually.
Yeah. So even at the start, it was, you could make it your 8 to 5, 9 to 5. Like you could set your hours how you wanted enough of.
When you start, you go all in.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was till 9 o'clock. It depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's go to like scaling. So now we know you moved to Langley. You're working out of kind of a basement office, a refurbished chicken barn. The business is organically growing. Like, what were the next key steps going from like 1 to 10 to 50 people?
Well, when
Without
you
a
started Raven, 94 then? Is that
96.
about-
95.
95. So the early 90s were a bit of a rough time, right? And then things picked up a little bit kind of when you started. Is that fair?
Everyone told us it was slow when we
Yeah.
started. It was a bad time to start. But we seemed to find work.
Yeah.
Like we were steady working after a year. We were steady working, and it came to a point to get out of the chicken barn. We had to look more professional. We were
Yeah.
a commercial roofing company, right? You need an office. You need a sign on the front. So then we ended up renting warehouse space in, whether it's Langley or Surrey, it's on Production Way.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Remember that place.
and that was actually the first commercial space we had where we could actually say, "Hey, I think we're on the right.
Was
we're
that
on the
like
right track?"
3,000? Was it 6,000? I
I
forget.
think it was around 6,000 square feet altogether.
And this is how many years in?
This would have been probably 5 years in.
Yeah.
4 years in, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, did you know like you'd made it? Like this was gonna be a lasting thing, and you were confident?
Oh, I was confident, but I never ever felt like, "Oh, I've made it. This is
Right.
it."
Yeah.
Never ever felt that.
And in those first 5 years, did you feel like that growth was like way more than you expected, or it was just slow growth to get to that point?
It was way more than I expected. I think we were probably growing by at least 20% a year,
Yeah.
Wow.
maybe 25% a year.
Yeah.
Because not only did you have your regular clients, but you were also picking up new ones.
So 5 years in, how many employees are you at?
Maybe 30, 35.
So already that's a lot of growth. Because all of a sudden your job's changing,
Yeah.
right? You're managing people.
Yeah, and at that point we hired more office staff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so now we're at 2000. and you got an office space.
Yeah.
You're in there for how long?
When did we move out? Thinking around, we were probably there 4 or 5 years.
So Neil told us earlier he doesn't know anything about real estate, but obviously he knew that this was what the business needed, and then you slowly grew out of that office, right?
Yeah.
So
It was getting too small, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
So why did you start the search? Just because it was too small? You're like, oh, we can probably afford something?
No, we needed a bigger space. We weren't sure whether it was to lease bigger space or whatever, but we found the building in Campbell Heights. Seemed like a reasonable price. Prices were going up. It was vacant. It was just a shell. And so we put an offer in and we got that building. So all of a sudden we go from 6,000 square feet to around 24,000 square feet.
Big deal.
But we had to do all the TI work.
And you purchased it, or you're leasing
We
still?
purchased that.
Yeah. So what year was
That was a
then?
leap of faith. That was probably the biggest one, because now all of a sudden you have a big mortgage, and you have to cover it. But
I remember you storing insulation in there for Convoy or something.
yes, we did, because we couldn't use it. So our supplier asked if he could use part of the warehouse for insulation storage, because at that time they were having trouble bringing in insulation.
Yeah.
So you built that 24,000 square feet. How much did you think you needed at that time? Half of it?
We used all the office, but probably half. Yeah, good, a big half.
So in a roofing warehouse, you have like your whole roofing section, but with commercial roofing, there's also a whole metal section. So there's a metal brake to bend the metal that goes on the exterior of all the buildings. So you have a brake, you have employees in the shop that are shearing these flat sheets, they're cutting them, and then they're bending them to whatever that profile is, and then they're storing them until they go to the job. So you need square footage for that.
Yeah.
And then extra insulation and trucks and
Yeah.
other employees.
And you bought that building what year then? Ish.
I think, that's when I had gotten a new partner already. He came on in 2007. I'm going to say 2007.
Can I ask you a question about that? Like you had a new partner there in 2007, but what happened with the first one? Like when did you have to, and why did you have to do that?
Get a new partner?
Yeah.
Because the first partner I had, we had a major falling out. We didn't see eye to eye on anything anymore. I had a certain focus. He had a focus. Without getting into the nitty gritties, it just didn't work.
So how did that kind of, I guess, break up, for lack of better words? How did that happen?
Well, at the time, we were also partners in a branch office in Regina, where we had taken on 2 partners. So he was a little older than me. So for him, he bought the Saskatchewan branch from me, and I took over the BC branch.
Okay.
So you guys tried to replicate Raven in Regina?
Yes, that was the idea. We were helping some guys go there, and it was a very profitable business there,
Yeah.
but we couldn't work together anymore. It was either he had to go or I had to go. It was not going to work.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about a shotgun clause in business with a partner, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially if you ever tell someone you want to buy them out for a number, you have to be prepared that they could flip it on you and buy you out for that same number, right?
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
And did that happen in that situation?
No, we came to an agreement.
Yeah. That's a really good clause. Maybe there's someone out there wondering how to have a clause with a partner that keeps everyone honest and fair.
Yeah, you can't lowball them.
No, you can't, because they'll flip it on you like that. Yeah, which is interesting. Okay, so you guys come to an agreement. You go your separate ways. Now you own it on your own.
That's true.
So why bring in another partner?
Well, because, as you know, there was a guy working there that we had hired who was very, very good. He would not have stayed on and worked for wage.
And you saw...
I did not want to be competition with him, because that's what it would have ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he is
So
an awesome human being.
We came to an agreement that I would sell him 50% because he wanted 50-50, and I was okay with 50-50.
Yeah.
Him and I had worked together for probably 6 years already at that point, so I knew him well.
I'm curious how he came up with the money to buy it at that point, coming off as because he was a foreman, right? He was a roofer.
Yeah, he was a
Right?
foreman.
Like, he was
He had made some investments,
Good,
and
yeah.
how he did it is
Didn't matter.
a personal
That's right.
Yeah.
personal thing that.
It's good for him.
But he came up with money, and
yeah.
So you had a partner in your drywall business, and then
Yep.
you're working with somebody else.
yeah,
But then you had a partner pretty quick at your start of your roofing business.
yeah,
That didn't work out, but then you quickly got another partner.
yeah.
Do you see the benefits of having a partner? Because some people they don't want to ever have a partner. I see the benefit of it. Did you always want to kind of have a partner, someone to bounce things off of, and if so, why? Or was it just the way it worked?
I didn't necessarily need a partner, but I also didn't want to lose this guy,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to be his competition
Yeah,
because he was good. He still is good.
Yeah.
So for me, and knowing him for 6 years, and his standards, the way he lived, everything like that, I mean, it was a win-win for both of us.
yeah,
And
You see,
we
you
were
guys-
also got along well. I can also say though that we never ever hung out together.
yeah.
Like, he didn't come to my place weekends. I didn't go to his place. He had his friends. I had my friends. I mean, it was a business relationship through and through.
So
But
you
we
guys
got
also
along.
got along really well through that, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are very different people. And me and Darren have talked about that. Like, we're opposites. You and him are very different. And like, having worked for both of you for as long as I did, there was different things I could glean from you. Well, especially because we have the family relationship, which can present challenges at times. But to also have him with a different perspective and a different look sometimes on business was super beneficial. And probably then, if it's not just for me, then for all the rest of your employees too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. But there again, he was the roofer. Like, he's another ticketed roofer, and had worked his way up through the previous company he had worked for, and there again, he was at a dead end.
Yeah. So he had an opportunity with you, but
Yeah,
would you say you guys had similar values? Because what I tell people is me and Brent we're very different personalities, but similar values.
Yes, we had similar values.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, he's a great guy through and through.
Yeah.
So would you say so how long were you on your own before you made that decision?
Probably 2 years.
Okay.
It wasn't that long.
Okay. Did you enjoy not having a partner for those 2 years? Or were you like, I'm looking to...
Honestly, I was more comfortable having a partner, especially when you go away. Let's say if you want a holiday or you want a break or whatever, someone has the best interests of the company at heart,
Yeah. Oh, we feel that in a massive way in real estate too.
right?
It's been huge.
And so you could go away and you could relax.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about your cell phone. You didn't have to worry about calls. You could
Someone's
actually
job.
have a holiday and spend time with family or whatever you were doing.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Do you remember what you bought that first warehouse for? Or you be comfortable with sharing that?
It was roughly $3 million.
And how much land was it?
I want to think about 2/3 of an acre.
2/3 of an acre, 20,000 square feet.
Yeah.
In Campbell Heights for $3 million.
Yeah.
You heard that here first, people. That's crazy. It's crazy how
And
much the
probably
market's
felt
changed.
super risky at the
Oh,
time.
of course it did. Like,
Yes,
that's
it
the same
did.
amount of money. Like, so, and that was what year again?
2008.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So that's right around there. There was a bit of the market had a blip down. So I don't know if it was there. Like, it was really shaky for a
It
while.
was a
and then it kinda
vacant
shot
building
back
that had been for sale for a while, and it was just the shell.
Yeah.
Like, there was no interior work done. We had to do all the TIs.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know TIs, it's tenant improvement. So you get a shell, you just have the bare wall. You got to run your electrical, you got to run your lighting, you got to do your drywall, build up your offices. And you can budget another $100 a square foot for that.
And did you feel like you could justify that purchase with where your business at, or did you feel like it was risky and we're like, we still need to grow to justify this purchase after the fact?
I mean, we thought it was risky, but we also could justify it.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it's probably one of the best moves we ever made because it allowed us to be more organized, gave us the space we needed. vehicles weren't getting broken into at night anymore. All of a sudden, because we used to park our vehicles outside, and
Like I've heard people say in the past, leasing makes more sense because you don't know, depending on what the market is, if you're going to grow or not grow. And let's say you have 5,000 square feet and you grow, then you didn't buy something that was 5,000 square feet, you have to sell it. So a lot of times people say just lease what you need and then grow that way. But you're saying there's a lot of other benefits to
Yeah.
owning.
How about also just lighting a fire under you because
Totally.
you just went from 6,000 square feet to 20,000. You're like, oh shit, we got to fill this space. Might as well grow the business.
no, it wasn't like that. It just made us. We had more office space. We hired more people. We were starting to get more and more work at the time. We were getting more clients. We were doing bigger projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. And little did you know that Campbell Heights Industrial was going to explode
Yeah.
eventually too.
At that time, was it a strategic location of a purchase? Did it feel that way to you?
Oh, it was a great location for us.
Yeah.
Because it allowed us access to
Like Highway 99?
Highway 99 to the city, to Richmond, easy access into Surrey, easy access into Abbotsford, Chilliwack.
Most
it was
of
a
the work-
great location.
Most of the work was out more west, right? Richmond, Delta,
Yeah.
Surrey. That's where most of it is.
So what I'd like to hear from you, or what I'm hearing from you, is really it was a slow and steady
It
progression.
was.
Because when people think starting a business, it's like, wow, I got to start a business, and they probably think it's going to be a whole lot more than it is, instead of a slow progression. Like you can build a successful big business slowly, right? The value that you added to your business over time, over the 25 years, right? You can get to a part where you have a good, strong, valuable business.
Yeah,
Right?
we did.
Yeah.
Was buying that building probably one of the riskiest decisions you ever made?
No, the riskiest decision was probably starting the company.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that point, we were all in. So
I think a lot of people could feel that
Yeah.
starting is sometimes the riskiest decision. So, tied to a question like that, I might be putting you on the spot a bit, but what's something that like you wish, was there anything that really hung you up that you wish you implemented earlier? Like someone listening this that's trying to scale a business could maybe understand? Is there anything that was like, I really wish I did that sooner?
boy, you're putting me on the spot. I can tell you that I'm very thankful that we did not try to explode the business
Okay.
Early on,
yeah.
or at any time.
at any time that
Yeah.
we went. We were always capable of handling what we got. We were able to increase the staff as needed. We didn't go from 50 or 20 to 50 in one step. It was a slow progression, right? You had 7 or 8 people a year. So it flowed very well.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, my partner and I, our biggest thing is cash flow is huge for us. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't want to be cash strapped,
Yeah.
and we never were. If we couldn't afford it, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
We waited till we could afford something,
That's a great.
Just simple, practical.
and it allowed us, by paying invoices on time, and even early, to negotiate better terms where you can get a discount by paying 15 days early. If you can get 2% off by paying 15 days early, you're like, compute it. 2% in 15 days, that's 4% a month. You go 12. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially with the amount of roofs you end up doing and how much material you're ordering.
And we were able to negotiate rebates because we were good clients. No one phoned us because we paid too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it puts you in an excellent position to negotiate with your suppliers.
Yeah. But
They're like, we
such a
have
simple-
no problems with this roofing company. We want them buying our product.
Yeah.
What can we do for you? You kind of flip the script a little bit.
And at the end of the year, all rebates, discounts, that goes straight to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because it's not something you estimated for.
Yeah.
And putting you ahead of so many other companies that aren't getting that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And you're just really, so you're looking at cash flow, but you're also just being a little bit ahead of the game and proactive. It's being proactive, right? And intentional. So, because you could have just been like, oh, these are the terms that they want us to pay. We'll just pay it then. But
there's
it's like,
too many
no.
companies that we heard of that, were cash strapped, and we're paying bills late, and then they get cut off, and then it's, cash on delivery, which they don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, in the construction industry, if I start a job, let's say today is April 1st, right, or 2nd, I'm not sure. But anything I do today, we won't see any money till June 1st,
Yeah.
right? Because you invoice at the end of the month 30 days later. So you're carrying 60 days worth. So all your suppliers don't want to wait 60 days.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have the money.
Yeah. Especially when you get the economies of scale, then being that organized would allow you to take on some really big projects. Like we did some cool stuff. Like when I was on the roof, we got the Prosperous Center. Like we did the arena and
We did a
Langley
whole
and
bunch of
Chilliwack,
arenas.
whole bunch of them. And then it got into high rises around Home Depots. I know when I was quoting for you, we got a 400,000 square foot warehouse. Still remember that job was insane. It was like to put that in perspective, it was over 10 acres of building. This thing. It was, and that's a roof.
What is the quote on that? Like, how do you look at that on a square
That
foot number?
100% varies on every roof system.
Yeah.
So you could go anywhere from like $2 to $3 a square foot, all the way to like what's the
We
highest?
don't want to go to $2 a square foot.
Okay, but I'm saying on some of these giant warehouses, we were slapping on 80 to 100,000 square feet of roof in a day.
Yeah, we were.
So you could go really, really fast. It was mostly materials. The labor was fast, depending on the roof system. Then you got another roof system where you can only do 3,000 square feet a day.
Yeah.
So it totally depended. But that roof was crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of material that you're floating for a couple months at a time.
Yeah.
So with that, like what in the roofing industry, what type of margin are you looking for on a job?
See, that's a whole different component. I would do a budget
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year, right? Based on historicals. I would say, okay, this was our volume this year. We're going to increase 10%. This is our volume. Last year, we used so many man hours. So this year, I got to increase that maybe by 10%.
Yeah.
I know what my overhead is because those are fixed costs. So I know how much I have to earn per man hour just to cover overhead.
Yeah.
Right. So profitability was based on, let's say I needed, I'll just throw a number out there, $25 per man hour just to cover overhead. So I would tell the guys, look, if you're not getting 35 to 40, we don't want to.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much profit on the end of the job. It was what we could make per man hour to cover it.
Gotcha.
This
So
is actually like a genius way to think about business that a lot of people, again, if you're listening and thinking about your business, to start with, like you only have X amount of man hours a year. So therefore, after you overhead, you have to make this. There wasn't a lot of people, I don't think, looking at it like that.
it wasn't a percent margin.
And the quoting reflects that.
No, because
Yeah.
percent can be so. If it takes you 6 months to do a job and you make 20%,
Yeah.
it's not a good job.
Gotcha. You want to find jobs that you can quickly roll over, and you're looking at
Yeah.
man hours because
Yeah.
that's
Because you only have so many in a year.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the material's a fixed cost.
Yeah.
Right, that's the easy part. The man hours and the budgeting. I mean, you need so many man hours that it's this much money to
Yeah.
cover the overhead, so you're going to at least break even.
Yeah. I like that.
And I remember playing, like, in all the estimators, you guys had built out an estimating program for us. So you plug in all the different types of materials and everything you needed, and then how many man hours you thought would be on that job. And then you would play around with, that was your only window of like how many man hour. If all the rest of the data is right, how many dollars per man hour can we make on this job?
Yeah.
And then if you get squeezed by one of these GCs that calls you up and says, hey, you're 5% high or whatever, and you're trying to decipher if that's true or not. Well, if I'm already at, just above like the lowest man hours I can be, those are some that you might be like, no, I can't touch this.
So if you're saying it was $25 per man hour, you would be looking for a job that gave you 40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For instance,
Yeah. Cool. I would have never thought that you'd look at it that way, but there you go. Now, like
Yeah.
I just would think profit margin, right? But,
No, and-
but I like
and-
it. You're
and
quite
I-
simplified it.
and I would do the budget, and I would tell the guys. They say, look, this is our cost for the year. So if you're not getting this,
Yeah. So you started small, 5 people after a few years, up to 100. Where was the hardest time to grow, and what were some of the biggest challenges in that growth?
Well, the easiest time to grow was, I guess, just before the COVID years because it was crazy busy.
Yeah.
The challenges were being able to get the right personnel in the field.
Yeah.
Hiring good guys, good people became hard. Became very hard.
I was hiring for a while. This is after several years in the office, and I remember
You trusted you with hiring?
I don't know why, but no, you'd put out an ad, and you would have let's say 20 people respond, and then you'd set up that they are all going to come to the office. 10 would show up, and then you run through orientation with these 10 guys, and then they're supposed to show up another 2 days later for roofing, and like 2 or 3 would show up on the roof. And then after a week, 1 would stay.
Yeah.
And this is your cycle. You were forever hiring. It would never stop. It was crazy.
That was the hardest part.
I'm like, what are the requirements for hiring a roofer? You're like 2 feet in a heartbeat.
And it wasn't like the
2 feet in a
wages,
heartbeat.
and it wasn't like the wages were bad.
No.
Yeah.
It's just crazy times. There's a lot of people that's where you see too, where all this unemployment and stuff, and people complaining about there's no work and I need a job, and it's like, well, there's a lot of jobs out there that want you. You just don't want to do the job.
Yeah. And as you grow, you need processes and policies and all that. So were you good at delegating to each person what their role was, or was that a challenge? Did you feel like you were doing a lot of the work that you shouldn't have been doing instead of managing, or was that just, again, another slow progression as you guys grew?
That was a slow progression. I mean, as we grew, I would have to delegate more.
Yeah.
Certain things. I mean, near the end, I really had nothing with the day-to-day roofing operations. I was doing the financial end, the accounting, working with accounts receivable, accounts payables, budgets, taking care of insurance, all those things, wages, looking at the estimating programs, making sure we were on track, reviewing jobs, where we're at,
Sure,
how
the
much we've
estimators
done.
didn't screw up, walk through the final job. Yeah.
Review estimates. I did that.
Yeah, because there's a lot, like sometimes you're sending out jobs like in the millions. Like, nice to run it by the boss first.
Yeah, that was more my job in the end. The day-to-day, where guys were working and dispatching, I wasn't doing that at all anymore.
Yeah. So you outgrew that other building too. Let's take that next step into your real estate journey. What'd you do after that?
After that, we were looking on the, I guess it was the other side of Campbell Heights, around 34th Avenue in there. There were lots for sale, so we ended up purchasing 2 acres there and building a new warehouse there.
So did you sold your other one and then moved into this one?
We had sold it, so
Yeah.
that was a fast turnaround.
Yeah.
What was the price per acre in Campbell Heights at the time?
What year was it? I want to take a guess at this.
When did we? 2000 and I want to say 17 or 18.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to be wrong. $450 an acre.
No, it was around 900.
No, okay. Because it really jumped up, and then it really jumped up again after that.
It was when they released that whole new section.
Yeah, we were in
Southwest
phase
of that
2, I
intersection.
guess, on the release.
Yes. So I want to say a year or two prior, it was half of that though.
Yeah, I know.
Because it really popped.
But a year or two after, it was double that.
Again, right? Like
That land in there, industrial per acre, was going insane. Like, and so people know now, like that was 2017, 2018. Like there's time it's trading for like 6 to 7 million an acre.
yeah, I feel like that was only a few, but it's
Market's
crazy
not
what it did.
that far off that
Yeah.
anymore. Like, good luck buying in Abbotsford for less than 4 million an acre. Like, it just, all industrial land just got squeezed.
But I'll give our builder their credit. From start to finish, he had us in 7.5 months.
Yeah, that's impressive.
From building permit to
Amazing.
On
How
many
big is
square
that
feet?
warehouse? Yeah.
we were up to 35,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I remember working in the. Well, I was with you in the warehouse before that, and it was a lot smaller. And then going to the new one was like this new fancy. There was tons of space, tons of offices. It was a big deal when you're 25 and working in the office. You get your own fancy office now. You don't have to share anymore. And
And
it's a
were
big
you-
move for the company.
Were you busting at the seams at the last one? Like we can't grow here?
No, we looked at it as an opportunity because the way prices were going up.
Yeah.
And we could sell the building we were in for quite a bit more than we had paid for it.
Yeah.
So no, it was more were we busting it? We were full for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It was nice to have a bigger warehouse again because we were also expanding more into the slope roofing, and that was the metal roofing end, which we hadn't done before.
So from a garage and a basement to a chicken barn to 6,000 square feet to 24 to 35,000.
Yeah, that's all.
And
it went.
on a couple acres.
He said he didn't know what to tell us about real estate.
Yeah, no,
This
there you
is
go.
perfect.
So would you say, like, of all the, was that I mean, I know more about this. I'm obviously pretty close to it, but probably one of the best businesses you ever made was getting into the commercial real estate game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we could kick ourselves. We should have, we were saying later, we should have bought another 5 acres.
Yeah.
But there again, we didn't have the money and didn't have the cash, right? And neither one of us wanted to borrow to the extreme.
Yeah.
But you talked about it.
Yeah, we
right?
did discuss it and we talked about it. And
Yeah.
later we said, oh, we should have done it. But
And you've sold the business, but not the real estate.
we still retain the warehouse, yes.
Yeah. Which is, again, now you can get a lease and still
Yeah.
have that passive income.
So if you could go back to the start and tell younger Neil, is there anything that you would be like, I wish you would know this?
Well, I wish I would have known the way real estate was
Yeah.
going to go up in price.
Don't we all?
Other than that, yeah, some of the way we used to estimate and stuff like that. Like I didn't, when we first started, we were just, here's your job, you mark it up a certain percentage
Yeah.
but not really understanding why you're doing it.
Yeah.
When I started budgeting as we got bigger, then it became clear why I had to budget, why we needed certain amounts, what kind of projects we were going after,
Yeah.
who we were going after, which projects we didn't even want to look at.
Yeah.
So it was a learning progression all the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I would say that, oh, I should have done this different or better or.
Yeah. Where'd the name come from? I've always wanted to ask you that. Raven Roofing.
Raven Roofing, it was, I know when we started, you have to submit 3 names and get them approved by whoever the authority is. We didn't want my first partner's last name. We sure didn't want my last name. Like Rook Roofing doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound bad. Yeah.
So we wanted something that, it sounded kind of like West Coast-ish and,
Yeah. And it's stuck. Still there today.
yeah.
You guys need a roof. Well, it's not owned by you, but it's
I always see the trucks driving around. Never that crazy, right? You see them? Yeah. The brand's out there.
Yep.
I would ask you. I'm gonna angle this into more like questions that other maybe business owners, entrepreneurs could learn here. So what now that you've been through it all, like what mattered to you most in the end? Was it money, time, legacy? Like what means the most to you now?
Oh, what means the most to me now? The money is always important. Let's face it. Everybody that's in business wants to make money, right? I can honestly tell you, over all the years we were in business, not once did we end a year end in the red.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Through some tough years.
Even from year one. So the money's important. Legacy is also important. I can still talk to suppliers, people that aren't profiting from me anymore, and we can still be good friends. I can still go out and have coffee with some of the clients. We built friendships over the years. It wasn't just business. Yes, it was business, but there was also friendships.
There was a
I want to, I don't want to go out and everybody say, oh, they did a terrible job. It was bad. I think we had a good reputation overall, and I'm proud of that. I mean, that's really what we're after.
Yeah. And you guys did. What's maybe one of the sacrifices that people don't see that's important to growing a business?
You have to put in a lot of time. You have to put in a business does not grow and succeed by someone clocking in at 8 and leaving at 4:30. You can't run it that way. You have to do what it takes. You have to be on call. You have to be able to listen to your employees. You got to trust your employees. You got to listen to them, treat them well.
Yeah.
It's,
There's a
it's
couple.
not a machine.
No, it takes.
People have emotions. They have feelings, and you've got to listen to that and help them at times if necessary. And
Brent made a comment that he remembers growing up that like when you came home, that you, from his vantage point as your son, you were able to kind of leave work at work. When you have 80 to 100 employees, I would see that as stressful. Did you find that stressful, or were you able to just leave it at work? Like, was there tools or tips that you have for people?
for the most part, I could leave it at work. But I mean, we had foremen and project managers, and that dealt more with the guys at the end than I did.
Yeah.
You always did well hiding stress if you had it.
Yeah, probably my wife's biggest complaint was that when I got home, I didn't want to talk about the day anymore.
Yeah.
When I got home, I was done.
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Tomorrow morning,
Done.
6:00, I'm all in again. But from these hours,
You were
when I'm
on.
home, I'm off. I do not want to rehash my day, and that was probably her biggest complaint. Because what'd you do today? What happened? And I say it was a good day. It was a fine day. Everything was good.
Yeah. Moving on. There was another couple of simple things that describe your character, and I drove you nuts because I was late for work quite often, especially through my teenage years. I was not the same personality, but what's your saying? Do you remember the saying?
If you're,
Oh, how does the saying go?
I was told it so many times.
can I guess it?
Yeah, guess it.
If you're on time, you're late.
No, if you're early,
Oh,
you're on time.
Yeah, early is on time.
On
On
time.
time is late, and late is unacceptable.
there you go.
There it is.
Because, and I always said that, your time is no less or more important than the guy you're meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to respect that.
And even something in our industry now, like sometimes I still feel that pull. It's not like if I'm with somebody, it's so hard to end that meeting to go make sure you're on time for the next one, but you should be prioritizing that. And it's still a lesson
It's hard in real estate, but so what I do is like, it's at least communicating it, right? Like having a meeting, I'm running 5 minutes behind, not just showing up.
It's unacceptable.
5 minutes behind.
Yeah. It was the same thing at work. I mean, we'd get schedules to do a job, and sometimes because weather related, you'd be delayed.
Yeah.
Well, you don't just not show up.
Yeah.
You phone the client and say, look, we're going to be a day late. We're going to be 2 days late. They may be upset, but at least they know where they're at.
Communicating.
They're not looking at 7:00 and going, hey, there's no crew here, and then getting upset and phoning you at 8:30. Hey, where are you guys?
Yeah.
This was such a fast and true principle that like I would be on the way to the office and hit traffic. I'm driving from Abbotsford every day, East Abbotsford. It was
Boom,
about
hits
a
your head.
45-minute commute, and I'm looking at time, and I was young and dumb, and of course I'm pushing it every morning. Maybe you're up late, maybe you sleep in a bit, but I would literally gonna be there at 7:02 because I hit an extra red light, or 7:01, and I was not allowed to show up at 7:01, 7:02. You turn your butt around, you go to Tim Hortons, and you buy donuts
And
for
you
the
buy a
entire
dozen
office.
donuts.
And then you go back to the office, and now you show up at 7:20, and I'm like, what? Like, but it didn't matter. It's the principle of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. You're going to be
remember
late,
that.
you bring a dozen donuts.
Yeah.
Before real estate, I worked at an investment company, and the stock market opened at 6:30. So like I had to be there at 6:20 because you had to be ready for when. A lot of people think like, oh, I can show up a little bit later because, like, I was forced to be on time, or else you're already behind missing phone calls, right?
Yeah, these things force you to. Hey, it was good, simple principles. Like what I've heard a lot from today, and I think this is something that like the world does need to hear is like, you didn't overspend, you worked hard, you didn't grow the company too fast, You showed up on time. You gave it everything you had. These are simple principles. It's not rocket science.
And slow growth, like you didn't push yourself over leverage. Like I say this about our community that we deal with in real estate. When COVID was crazy, people were just using emotion to buy.
Yep.
Our community didn't really, like, it was a lot more tempered. So when the market was crazy, we actually did a little fewer deals than some of the top agents. But then when it drops again, we see the value and we're doing more deals, right? Like, don't let emotion get too much in it. And by the sounds of it, you were very tempered in what you did, right?
Yeah, I don't have big highs or big lows. Yes, we land a big job. Great.
Pumped.
Great.
Yeah.
But let's hope in the end that we earn something.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the biggest thing is I had the family support from my wife and the kids. And, you know, they gave me the free rein and allowed me to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, and in turn, I think there's a lot of people that I hope glean from this, like just knowledge in business is something that empowered me before I started a business, like having a good mentor in you and your business partner over the years to push us to start this company and where it's gone. And that was super impactful, obviously, in my life. And not everyone gets to grow up with a mentor like that. So I've told you this before, but that was really appreciated. And that's definitely a lot of those simple principles ended up embodying what Leffers and Rook is today.
Yeah, I can say that you definitely instilled a lot in Brent, that I can see that because it comes up. Oh, I learned this from my dad, or my dad did this.
Yeah.
But it's all in good ways. So
Well, there's one thing I don't appreciate is that the first condo I bought, Brent came with me and you happened to be the realtor, and then Brent left.
I thought I did something wrong there for a sec, but okay, couple thoughts on this. I do remember thinking, Neil's not going to be happy with me asking this question. Can I still ask this question? But then I also remember there being a discussion later on when Brent was a realtor about coming back to Raven.
Yeah, you always didn't like nepotism, and again, you learned from this. But so nepotism, for those who don't know the definition, is basically if you give favoritism to your kid. And I always had a chip on my shoulder because I didn't want to be the silver spoon kid either. So I think I was a pretty hard worker. I was a pretty good estimator, but I was always the least paid from all the estimators. And I know that.
You were the junior estimator, son.
See? And I was outselling them because the numbers are public. Like who sold X million in real estate? And I was outselling everybody. So I was frustrated at that, but it also was like way better position for me now if I reflect on it than being the overpaid boss's kid. That's a reputation you can never shake.
Yeah.
So what was the conversation when your dad wanted you back?
Oh, he was going to double my salary and offer me a lariat. But it was too late. I had already tasted being an entrepreneur in business, and pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't a GMC. Right?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Didn't you have problems with your
Yes, let's not. Yeah.
Well, I think hey, my questions are answers. This has been good.
Yeah, this has been great. I don't think there's, maybe, is there any advice, like while you have the floor, there's people that are listening to this that are either starting a business or trying to scale a business. Is there one other thing you maybe want to leave them with before we sign off here?
Yeah, just be honest. Just be honest. Treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Treat your employees well. Listen to them. Don't always have to agree with them, but you sure listen. And it's very important to try to get to know them on a bit of a personal level. It's nothing wrong with you asking, hey, how's your wife doing? And by name. Or how are your kids? Or knowing, because they appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They really do.
It creates a culture.
It creates a culture. And I know with us, we always had basically an open door policy, right? And you know that from the office. Mm-hmm. So if my door was open, anybody could walk in anytime. Yes, there were certain times you'd be in a phone call, you'd be in a meeting, you close your door. But for the 90% of the time, I would say my doors were open.
Mm-hmm.
That if people had an issue, they could come and talk.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said treat others as they want to be treated. It's the golden rule, right?
Yeah, and just
Well, it's been fascinating to hear the story from you from the ground up. Appreciate your time as our first guest,
Great
Ian the
first
guinea
guest.
pig. completely different industry than what we do. If you guys like what you heard here, please like, follow, subscribe. If you got questions for Neil, questions about scaling a business, questions about starting anything, even the roofing industry, we'll pass it on to him as well. Thanks for tuning in. Anything else you want to add, Darren?
No, it's great.
Great.
Appreciate you having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you guys next time.